Hello everyone, this is Ksenia and today we will talk about backgrounds. Backgrounds in comics and webtoons can be as simple as solid color or as intricate as a full scene, but no one can argue that they can elevate the experience and make the panel shine. Some of my favorite panels and pages in my own comics are my favorite because of backgrounds. So let me share with you my approach of dealing with them. Obviously, there is no right or wrong way of doing anything in comics, and that's also true for backgrounds. Some people prefer to hand draw everything, some people use photos, and I use 3D models from Asset Store combined with my own models that I make in Blender. I start with doing research on Clip Studio Asset Store. There is a chance that it has exactly what I want and I don't need to do anything. And sometimes I even downloaded the thing beforehand and completely forgot about it. Actually, I suggest to check Asset Store at least once in a couple days, because a lot of creators have discounts for the first days of release, and you don't want to miss those. In this case, I see a couple of useful things, but not anything that can be used for the whole scene, so I will need to do some models myself. One thing that I should note here is that I am in no way an expert in Blender, and I'm using it to make sure that the scale is correct. So models are good enough to do the perspective and extract lines from them and nothing else. The page that I'm currently working on is the first page of the third chapter, so I need to establish the scene and set the mood for the next several pages. The chapter starts at the celebration of Midsummer Day, so I want to achieve this festive, colorful look for the happy summer vibes. I used two photos from Unsplash as references and made the simple low poly models. Once the model is done, you can export it in the FBX or Wavefront object format and drag and drop it directly to Clip Studio Paint. So now, it's time to think about composition. Composition for comics borrows a lot from composition in paintings and cinema. You can use different types of shots to tell things about characters and environments. Like showing character from the low angle may suggest that this character is in power, and image of a character from the high angle can indicate some uncertainty. It is also true for the types of shots. Establishing shot is mostly used in the beginning of the scene to ground characters in place and give some extra information to readers. Like in my example, I'm starting a chapter by putting my characters directly into the middle of the event, and I want to communicate that there are a lot of students there. So I'm not starting my chapter with an empty beach, which is technically also somewhere near, but right at the crowded place. I think for the comics, establishing shots are the most background heavy. After showing location once, you can kinda get away with minimum backgrounds by using close-up shots. And I'm planning to do just that. Actually, out of a medium close-up, close-up and extreme close-up shots, only the last one doesn't have space for a background. But extreme close-ups are better used sparingly for intense emotions or important reveals. Luckily for us, we are working on a comic, meaning that we need to save space for the text. Speech bubbles can take a lot of space from the panel, and having a background behind it might not only be unnecessary, but also distracting. So it's better to plan a composition of your panels and pages with the text ready. I think the safest composition that works like 99% of the time is using the rule of thirds. This way, you will always have space for the character and the text. You can also use multiple tricks at the same time. Like in my example, I put the character in thirds, and then in the background form a leading line, pointing directly towards the character. So now, since we have background planned, let's talk about features and tricks in Clip Studio Paint that will help us to achieve the best results. Let's start with the working with the 3D layers themselves. To get a perfect angle centering the character, you can always select this character, click on presets, and select the one that works best. Another trick that I use to make sure that everything is placed correctly is to duplicate the camera and lock it. This way, I can rotate everything as much as I like without any worries that I will lose my perfect angle and ruin the composition. Once everything is ready, I am switching off all the characters. I will draw them separately. And now we are ready to extract lines. If you work with models for the first time, I suggest to open Convert to Lines and Tones window, select Preview and go through all the options. Some models work best with the conversion into the vector lines. Some are getting deformed if you select Smooth as an option. So you need to try everything for your particular case. Once you're somewhat satisfied with the result, click OK. I personally work with raster lines, because it's easier for me to clean them. I also apply filter smooth to get rid of all the artifacts, and then change the line color. Since I repeat this process for every panel on every page, I saved these 3 steps as an auto action, so I don't need to do it again. Another trick that I'm doing is extracting shadows separately from 3D layers instead of simply rasterizing. This way I have more flexibility for adjusting lights and shadows, and my background look closer to my style. One note here, the trick works best for untextured and white objects, otherwise you will have to make the light stronger. So first we need to turn off all colors from all objects. Then change the light angle to a position that we like. After that, I duplicate a 3D layer and rasterize it. It's good to have an original layer saved just in case. Now we can do some magic. Go to Edit, Tonal Correction, Binarization and adjust the threshold. Everything black will be our shadows. Then go to Edit, convert brightness to the opacity. After that, I'm changing the layer to drawing color, which is the color of my shadows. Now, change the blending mode to multiply, and you're done! You have basic shadows in 1 minute. And if you save all the steps as an auto action, you can get it in 2 seconds. Now you can change shadows however you like. One thing that will make your background feel alive is details and people. Add other people interacting with the place. They can sit at the table, talk to each other, read books, play games, whatever. To give an impression that place is crowded, start from the people on the back and slowly work towards the foreground. This way, you can draw only people that are necessary. Don't forget to check the asset store. It has a bunch of brushes with background characters or poses, if you like to draw them yourself. Sometimes when I stuck with thinking of what people in the background will wear, I will reuse characters from the previous pages. Or I will think about supporting characters that can potentially be in the scene and put them onto the page. For example, some of these characters we will meet later in this chapter, and careful readers might notice them. The last thing that I like to do is to draw some dust with an airbrush to add some texture and adjust colors. We can use correction layer to adjust all the colors at once, instead of changing every layer separately. And with that, our festive illustration is done. But what if we wanted to draw some scenes set during the night with the pouring rain? That's actually super easy. The only thing that you need is an extra multiply layer on top of everything. Pick a dark blue or purple color, fill the layer, simply erase some areas to add dramatic lighting, and now we are in the middle of the night. Actually, having characters lead from the back will work great for scenes during the day as well. Just put a window or a lamp behind them, or don't put anything. One thing that I learned while working on my webcomic is that lights and shadows are instruments, and you can use them for your advantage to tell the best story you can. On the other hand, if you repeat the lighting scenario from establishing shot onto the next panel, you can do a minimal background. And this is how I make the backgrounds. I hope you found something useful here. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.